Good morning. Morning, Kingman. Morning, Vito. So an interesting thing about BTCT as I'm sitting down here, it is cheaper, but it's our second leading gainer, a little bit of a higher float. It's in a wedge right now. Morning, Lauren. Morning, Apothecary. So my training is going to be paying more attention to general trends for a little while here. Morning, Jews. Morning, Chimera. Yeah. We're also sizing back down today. We're going to be experimenting with some things. Morning, Grace. We're right below the 200 moving average at 734. Tunis also mentioned that the 200 simple moving average is at 646. So the problem with this is that we're going to have resistance at 734 today. He's still negative on this. bumping up against that descending resistance. It does give us a nice 7 a.m. pop. But does it hold the 200 moving average? Morning, human. Pops through really strong through the 200 moving average. Morning, the first. Good luck to you too today in CDs. Got a big topping tail. The reason I didn't take this micro pullback is that it was right below the 200 moving average at 734. I could have taken the break of the descending resistance. Very nice. So this is forming a bull flag, but big topping tail. We're above the 200 now. This trend line no longer valid. Nice job. A lot of you guys took that trade. I was just worried about this 200 moving average at 734. Thought I was just going to bump up against it and do a rejection. Surprised that it broke through there. Morning, momentum trader. Hey, Martin. Dang, over $1 a share. Nice. Morning, Senos. Morning, No FOMO. Kind of looks like the start of a reverse head and shoulders. It consolidates below 118 and then moves up. Pulled back pretty far though. Crypto's back in business. MACD's very close to crossing over. We're still extended on the 5-minute for the 9 EMA, down at 670. No, that doesn't really make sense. Maybe there. So that. That would make more sense. So theoretically on BTCT, 163, we're still above the 200 moving average. Theoretically, if this broke back up through VWAP in 175, then that might be a good entry. Break of descending resistance in VWAP. We have this level here, level here. The only problem is that it doesn't have news. It's a bit higher float. It's our second leading gainer, and it's cheaper. And thickly traded, yeah. I'm just looking at various charts, and I'll be drawing ascending and descending resistance lines on it. I did watch some of Jeff's courses very, very briefly as I could for like trend breaks and stuff, curls, just to see if I could start identifying patterns that might get me into the moves a little bit earlier. I may not take the trades all the time, and if I do, then I would take them with small size. But I'm still putting in the reps to try and identify patterns. Morning, puppy. Oh, it's part of Ross's education that I still have for another year. He has his own courses in there about how he trades. Someone recommended it to me. I don't remember who it was. I apologize, but looks like we're breaking down on this, ending up below the 200 moving average again and below this ascending ascending support. So it actually breaks back through there, and now it's above this trend line. It's kind of interesting. Does it hold? MACD's still negative. The 5-minute trend? I guess you're right. If you draw it on the 5-minute there, it holds. Yeah, I can see that it got bought back up from the 9 EMA there. Question I have would be, do I draw the trend line from the top there? Or do I draw it from there? This seems like more accurate rather than from the very top. Or if I include some of the bodies in there. I think Ross will make money without chat pumping this. I think I'm gonna stop answering that question because I've answered it too many times. I answer it almost daily on stream. I apologize, but I don't want to keep saying it over and over and seem like I'm a negative person that, trying to attack other streamers. I'm just here to trade. But I'm gonna start just ignoring that question in the future. Sorry, Pablo. I've made my decision today. Morning, Rafi. So let's see. If first candle make a new high would be above 756. So we're going to act these close to curling positive. We're holding. So let's see. If we break 756, then I'll take just a small position to anticipate the curl back up. Act these close to curling positive. we break. So I'll take just 20 shares. Top is going to be about 745. Breaks down. So back out. So MACD is still negative there. Is there any other issue with that entry? First 5-minute candle to make a new high. Broke the trend line. We held this 733 level. Momentum declining. Topping tail. $773 pivot. Does it make more sense? Does it make more sense to wait for an obvious pivot? So I mean, now that we kind of do have an obvious pivot with that rejection, if I follow my own strategy previously, then it would be more like this, where we have this. Now we have this descending resistance off of the top line. We have an obvious pivot at 773. MACD is, once it turns positive and it breaks there, then this would be a better entry. Zoom out on what? I mean, like this? It doesn't quite hold on the 5-minute there. I mean, that seems accurate. Going sideways, not a pullback anymore. That's true. It is going sideways. You can post screenshots in the Discord. That's why I have the Discord for. Morning, Andy. But these are going to be my days for a little bit. I'm going to be taking stabs at some of these types of setups with just like 20 shares, 10 shares, like very small size. Even if I'm red on them, I don't care. We are figuring it out. But I'm still going to be trading my normal setups too. Micro pullbacks, ABCDs, all that stuff. I'm just adding another one to the mix as I'm learning how to do trend reading. Morning, adversary. Yeah, cup and handles. They're pretty good. There was a hidden seller when I tried. Oh, yeah, I didn't see it. Now I could short, and I've been thinking about dabbling in it eventually, but very, very carefully, but not right now. Joining the dark side. The dark side. I would do both. I would short and long. From some conversations I've had, there are ways to short while managing risk properly. But I wouldn't do it during regular market hours. That's still off limits for me. Like regular market hours, if it halts up and resumes at $100 a share, like that's off limits for me. They basically just be pre-market. Yeah, shorting has high high accuracy, but that's why risk management to the downside, I think, on shorting is probably more important. Bouse moving. Too cheap. Well, I'm with Trade Zero, so Trade Zero locate fees. Like Trade Zero has a good inventory for locates. So I could do it. Like it wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, I would have to be careful not to lose the clothes on my back doing that. For SGLY, let's find out. 100 shares. Can you see that on stream? Oh, whoops. Did I? No, you can't see it on stream. Ooh, that is expensive. Yeah, 35 cents a share locate. So mine's about half of, just over half of yours. One thing I'm curious about, can I reduce this locate? No, 100 shares is the minimum. Max is 200. Or at least that's quick locate. Maybe there's another way to do it here. 300 shares is the max for this particular stock, it looks like. But I mean, this is why people short, right? Like $7 down to down to $6 here. Like, yes, it costs 35 cents a share, but you can short in, apparently, well, actually, I don't want to talk about it on the stream because the person I talked to, I don't know if I have permission to talk about this stuff yet. Is STKH moving again? Not popping up on my scanners because it has a 3 billion share float according to Charts Watcher. But at this point, the relative volume on it is so light that I can't really justify trading it. We're on the backside of a move, high of 820 the previous day. Like, this is just a pop and drop stock every day at this point. The Israel stock. I don't think I can touch this. After 2 max red days, we're talking about shorting. Well, I'm just talking about it. You see me doing it? I'm not doing it right now. I can't. At the same time, I mean, if something's not working in your process, you have to consider all of the possibilities to what you can do to adjust it, right? And like, just because I talk about something doesn't necessarily mean I'll do it, but I do have to consider all of the possibilities in trading, right? I don't have a, what's the word? Like, I don't need to be loyal to my strategy, right? I need to adapt to the market. I'm not loyal to Ross Cameron's strategy. I'm trading it right now, and I'll continue trading it for a long period of time to try and adjust it until it works. But if it never works, then I eventually do have to consider something else, right? If it just doesn't work for me, it just doesn't work for me. We've had 3 weeks of green success, and then we had 2 max loss red days in a row. Now I'm putting in the reps to try and find ways to adjust it with the trend lines and trying to figure out how to get in earlier and adjust the process. But I still do have to consider other options, right? If you want to be successful in trading, the best thing not to do is to be stubborn. But we don't want to be wishy-washy either. It's kind of on a spectrum. Just because I had 2 red days in a row, shouldn't start strategy hopping. But we do need to consider possibilities eventually. I've heard of some stories of some people who had success in the markets for a period of time, for like a year, like last year during the Bitcoin boom and the crypto boom. And since then, they've kind of been doing the same thing over and over and over again. Even though they're not profitable anymore, they made a lot of money back in the crypto boom, but they're still continuing to do the same thing. So, you know, at a certain point, people do have to consider how to adjust their strategy, and if nothing they do works, then they have to consider other possibilities. Kind of the way it is, in my opinion, at least. BRNX, Israel company, slightly moving, but really too interesting to me right now. Of course, I wouldn't recommend shorting for any beginner at all. And even myself, I'm still hesitant about shorting because I understand the risks of it, right? Um, the problem with a lot of beginner traders is that they don't have risk management strategies, even when they trade to the long side. They don't have the discipline for the risk management either. And yeah, I mean, the difference between longing and shorting is the fact that if you continue averaging up without a plan, yeah, you can lose more than just what's in your account. You can lose, you can be in debt to the broker, which is the problem that I have with shorting, of course. So, there's that big disclaimer that people who aren't disciplined and they can't follow rules, it's basically a no touch thing. Like you probably shouldn't touch it, right? And you need to have a very strict strategy for maintaining maintaining your risk on it. There's no there's not really any room for you to break your rules on that, or you're just going to be out of the game eventually. It's going to destroy you. So I wouldn't recommend it for beginners at all. Yeah, with six times leverage, you can. That's true. I mean, on the long side, it's different for Canada because when I'm trading small caps here in Canada, they actually restrict margin. Like I can't use margin on small caps. That might be different if I traded with a different broker, but I think that's the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization stepping in and restricting it for most brokers. Like most brokers don't have any leverage, I'm pretty sure, on small caps. They only allow it on large caps. But I guess if you were trading large caps, that would apply, or you know, higher float stocks, that would apply. It would be harder to blow up your account and get an O on it, but it's still a possibility. So SGLY is rolling a little bit. So is this a new support trend line? This is that previous descending resistance that it's bumping up against. The NRX moving. It doesn't have enough relative volume. It's still pretty low percentage change on the day. Israel company, no news. Yeah, it's choppy. Tory trades? I don't know who that is. I don't think I've ever watched that or Tory trades before. You mean with the trend lines? I try to remove trend lines. The reason I never liked drawing trend lines is because it makes a spaghetti web of nonsense on the charts. In fact, I wonder if there's a better color so that it doesn't really stand out so much. We have what? Maybe blue, maybe this shade of blue? I mean, this one back here probably isn't going to be valid anymore unless it pops all the way up through high day, but Well, I'm going to be doing some research into both trend lines and short selling while I'm continuing to adjust my current strategy as well. Even if I don't end up doing either of them, I mean, adding to your knowledge is good, right? So I'll probably do some research into short selling and trend lines and adding to my depth of knowledge. TXAI with news. XLMT also with some news, but this one's not moving. It's easy to borrow. Recent reverse split. This one's right below the 200 moving average, 184. Look at that. Resistance. So MACD is positive on this. Bouncing off this prior level. I'm wondering if it breaks back through VWAP, then that would increase the momentum on it. But the problem is that we're below the 200 moving average again. So that is a little bit of a problem. I'm not even sure if this is really something to touch anymore. And this has a pivot at 692, 694. It was the start of the day at 7 a.m. Head and shoulders. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's I don't know why they do that for Weeble Canada. So if I were a short and we have this revert or this head and shoulders pattern, the area to cover would be above this pivot of 692, right? I'm guessing because then the head and shoulders pattern will be broken, or maybe 7. Hmm. Well, there it goes spiking. So if it holds VWAP, we'll see if it holds. And breaks through, I suppose. I'm not sure if I'm going to take a position on this because this isn't a part of my usual patterns. I might just observe. So if I were taking a position, I would take it like right around here with a stop of 680. Big topping tail. HUIZ is moving at the same time as this. And the problem that I had with this is that it's below 5 relative volume. It's cheaper, and it was on the backside of this previous pop. But that was a really strong move. The break of 2 goes all the way up to 4. They're pretty insane for unaudited financial results. What is the financial result? %30 year over year? Doesn't seem that strong to me. Yeah, I'm guessing this is a pop and then it's going to go sideways. But that's a lot of volume. Almost 4 million shares of volume in that one 5-minute candle. Yeah, there's no place to jump in on it except for the break of the highs. But there were a lot of things on this that were telling me to stay out. 8 million share float, close to 10 million, so a little bit of a higher float, cheaper price, Chinese stock, lower than 5 relative volume at the time of the breakout. Not really up enough on the day either. Like the news is just unaudited financial results on the backside of a move, 28 million. I don't think this is something that I should have taken. This is a move that happened. Temporary bypass to bias. It wasn't just the low relative volume. It was all of the things that I just mentioned. It was like 4 or 5 things that are telling me like, no, probably not. It squeezed, sure, but I don't think it's particularly something to be traded. But now we have Hive 293 was that previous daily level that it's kind of bouncing off of right now. So now I have to consider whether to trade it up here as it's consolidating. Those thoughts, isn't it just, I mean, that's stock selection. It's not fear of loss, right? If I just trade anything and everything, then how do I know that I'm trading a stock with higher EV? Right? Like I have to have some restrictions on what I'm willing to trade. Let's see what Ross traded today. I wouldn't be surprised if he had no trades today. I mean, maybe he traded SGLY. He's got his charts maximized right now. Can't see. He did trade in his small account. He didn't take any trades in his big account. So he did trade Huey's. Yeah, Ross has a stream. He is I mean it's a paid stream, so you have to pay for it. But I bought his courses a year ago, so I have his community mentoring live stream for a little bit longer for free. Once it runs out, I don't know if I'm going to renew it. It's pretty expensive. But looks like he did trade this. And I agree with what Momentum Trader said. Just because it spikes doesn't mean I should have been in it. But I mean, if he traded it, and if other traders say I should have traded it, then when I point out 4 or 5 things that are potentially damning about the stock, so I don't get in the trade, then I mean, what is does price action just take precedence overall? It's moving quickly, just jump in. I don't know. I don't know about that. This is moving quickly, but if I jump in somewhere, what's to say that it doesn't just reject on me as I jump in? That's the problem I have. I feel like when I take trades, I need to have conviction in the setup and where I'm taking it, right? The best place to take this would have been the break of the highs. The break of the highs back here. Because there's a clear entry, there's a clear stop. And you have a plan. But down here is where I would look at my stock selection and say that this is outside of my stock selection. It's not up enough on the day, low relative volume on the backside of a big spike from a couple days ago. Like it does have news, but the news, like financial results and news, typically aren't that good. So where do I, if I don't take that, where do I get in? It didn't give me a pullback. It just spiked all the way up to 4. There's not really any like safe entry along here. It would just be me kind of chasing green candles. Now maybe I have to be open-minded to chasing green candles. I don't know. What's his name? Kev Momentum. He seems to think that chasing is a good thing. Just based on the title of one of his videos. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know, but I'm the type of person that likes to have a plan. Have a good one, Tom. I like to have a plan for when I get in and when I exit. That's the issue that I have. I mean, right here, it's kind of grinding back up. But I feel like it's extended. The 9 EMA is all the way down at 250. We've been having a lot of false breakouts near the highs. I don't know. I'm not going to FOMO into this trade. I'm going to read some comments. Da, da, da. As it breaks previous high of day, price and volume. What about momentum? Sometimes if it goes parabolic, that's all you gotta know. News isn't significant. Price and volume. It did have 600,000 shares of volume as it broke. Interestingly enough, this was also a 5-minute candle close at the exact same time. You could call this a 5-minute breakout at the same time. The small pullback around $2. Yeah, it did have a small pullback on the 10-second. Like around the high of day would have been the best entries. What I was thinking about before, if I were to take an entry on it. Like if I should just ignore, relative volume and all of the other pillars of stock selection that Ross talks about all the time and just focus on price and volume, then yes, theoretically that would be the best place to get in. And I don't know what the guy's name that does commentary once Ross gets off is. I'm normally not around during market open, so I don't listen to him, so I don't know who he is. Oh, that sucks. Not able to trade it. Wouldn't say that chasing is good, but buying into strength during initial expansion can be great. Yeah, possibly. Nice job, football. Sorry, I'm having trouble keeping up with all the comments. We're starting to get a bunch of people in here, so I'm trying to read them all and think at the same time as we're adjusting our strategy for the market. I'm thinking about what needs to happen, but I think this is probably best done, this sort of thinking with uh, my VODs, going through my past VODs and thinking it out at the same time. All the ideas that you guys are giving me is great. I can take note of them and then go back later, look through my VODs, and then decide, critically think about what I want to try applying to my trading. Interpreting the news is not what we're here to do. Everything is a lagging indicator. Well, relative volume on small cap stocks specifically, right? Um, Usually small cap stocks aren't regularly traded. But so if relative volume is low when you have a pop like this with 200,000, 300, 600,000 shares of volume, right? It typically means that something happened close by on a previous day. So on the day back here, it made some regular market hour moves with a bunch of volume. You can see it on the daily, 28 million shares of volume. So that theoretically means that as the stock is popping up, there could be bag holders from this day still. There could be some resistance on the way up. That's what relative volume means to me, right? On large cap stocks or on stocks that are regularly traded, it's not as important of a metric. But I recognize that when we're on the backside, like when we're in the shadow of a big candle that had some volume, there's usually more resistance on the way up. That's why relative volume is used in Ross's pillars of stock selection when he's deciding what stocks to pick. We have relative volume, we have float, which is 8 million, which is a little bit higher, right? It's not high, but it's getting close to 10 million. So if I were to look at the stock in isolation of the price action, not even look at the price action, I would usually say that this is something that's going to be moving slower. Right? I wouldn't expect this to move up $2 a share in a single candle. Even if I'm looking at the news, like I wouldn't normally expect, with the combination of what I said just now, with this type of news, that it would be a short squeeze up $2 in isolation of anything else, right? If I were to only look at the price action, then I wouldn't be able to tell that this had low relative volume, a higher float, and kind of weak news. But what is more important is the question. And if we were to apply this sort of logic over like 100 trades, what would happen the majority of the time when I'm choosing these type of stocks? I feel like stock selection, or I have felt like stock selection usually takes precedence over everything, because over trading can become a problem if you just only look at price and price action, and you don't look at stock selection and you don't put any importance into it. It's a difficult balance, like a difficult line to walk. TJMB with 8:30 news. Doesn't really have any volume though. We'll put Huey's on a side chart for its consolidation. I'm using Trade Zero for my broker for tape reading. Yeah, I like ABCD patterns too. Do I think Huey's will push higher? Well, like I've said earlier, I didn't believe Huey's was strong at the start of the move. So the only thing that changed since then is that it made a big squeeze, and now we're up 150%. And it's in traders' focus. So it could really do anything. I don't know what it's going to do. All I know right now is that I think it needs a period of consolidation since the 9 EMA needs to catch up on the 5-minute. If it continues to hold up, then it could go higher. But I can't really say what it's going to do right here. MACD's negative, so it needs to consolidate for a little while. Yeah, he traded both of them in his small account. Seems like he's just focusing on his small account because he didn't take any trades in his big account. He's up 12 grand on Huey's and 6 grand on SGLY in his small account. What's going on with my market clock? You guys see that? What's going on with Trade Zero? Why does it say market is closed? When did that happen? Let me restart my Trade Zero. It's weird. Yeah, he took trades in his big account yesterday. I think he did. Pretty sure he did. I don't remember seeing the recap though. I only remember seeing the small account recap. So I'm actually not sure. Online is no longer valid. Do I ever wake up late? Not till 8. I did one time. Well, there was one time where I woke up. I'd only slept like 2 hours. I sat down at my desk on Friday and nothing moved until 9 a.m. And I just decided to go back to bed. And then later on, when I woke up and I checked my my charts, I realized that at 9:50 something popped up and moved like 300%. And since then, I've never been late or left early, except for when I had to for work. Hi, solo trader. You saw I began with a tiny account and I'm trading stocks. I've only been trading for about 12 months, so I don't have as much time as some other people do. I'm using Trade Zero. Um, are you new to trading? Like, have you never, like, are you looking for information about trading, or are you trading as like with a bigger account? Okay. So it's hard for me to come up with a response to compare it to how it would be compared to large caps because I've never traded large caps. Um, but I will say that trading with a tiny account in small caps is a way to grow an account, I think, if you can get a handle on it, but it's very difficult. It's a lot different than systematic trading in large caps. My experience with it so far is that it requires a lot of intuition and understanding market sentiment. I think small caps and large caps are like two entirely different ball games, especially since large caps you're competing against algorithmic trading, whereas it's not as big of a factor in small caps. How large is my account now? It's just under $2,000. I have deposited to maintain the $2,000 account a couple of times because commissions and the platform fee eat away at it since I've been generally a unprofitable trader. So I do deposit to maintain the $2,000 account. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like I have fairly good discipline that I'm not going to blow the $2,000 account all in one go. So I'm comfortable depositing it in to maintain the account. I I kind of treat the commissions and platform fee and whatnot as my tuition. So I mean, we've kind of been patient waiting for something fresh. Um, there hasn't been anything fresh though, really. That's in my wheelhouse. I suppose the only opportunity was Huey's. I had decided to take it here. SLGY, I mean, could have taken SLGY even though the 200 moving average was right there. I'm not sure what the right decisions on these were. We're getting close to 9 a.m. here. I mean, we don't have anything fresh. So I don't know when he jumped in on Huey's. He'll probably say in his recap when he did. What is the short interest on Huey's? I'm curious. 45K. That's not very high. A real level 2? What do you mean? I have my level 2 on the screen here. Oh, total view? Um, I don't think Trade Zero has total view, does it? And that's something to consider, I guess, getting total view on another screen, but I've never used it. It's a lot of information. Oops. Morning, Flip Flop. Yeah, see MACD's turning positive here. Technically, we have a first 5-minute candle to make a new high. We don't really have any pivots or anything. I don't really know what this is gonna do. I think we bounced off of VWAP, and the 9 EMA finally came up to VWAP here. I mean, what do we have for levels? This kind of looks like a level. Here. Actually, we draw a second one. Got about 5.5 minutes to 9 a.m. Wow, that moved pretty fast from 40 cents all the way up to 70 cents. Get up 80%. Right below the 200 moving average, 70 cents. $1 per share private placement. A million share float. Nice job, Kanhaya. $1.50. Quite good. Hmm. 2 minutes to 9 a.m. All right, have a good one, John. What did I get green on? I got green on nothing. Oh, you're talking to John. What time am I getting off? Maybe I'll stay a little bit for market open today. Tomorrow I have to get off early. Probably around 8:45 tomorrow for work stuff. So I'll stay around until market open today. When you base view up off the lows instead of HLC3. $57.94 compared to 62. Not sure about that. HLC3 is just the settings, right? The source settings for it. The highs plus the lows plus the I don't know what C is. A close divided by 3. Just the calculation method. Just the average of the highs, the lows, and I guess the market close, right? Divided by 3. Something like that. Got it from SMB Capital. I think it's more important to have VWAP where the majority of traders are using it from. That's the point of indicators, isn't it? For indicators, they're what traders are generally watching. I think HLC3 is like default on TradingView, for example. I think it's default on a lot of brokers. So I worry that changing it to the lows would be basing it off something that's not as common for other traders. Yeah, it's got increasing volume. It broke through the 200 of 70 cents. We're breaking this trend line. Exponential moving average, I think, is probably better because it waits for more recent price action. And I think the exponential moving average is used more by traders than the simple moving average. Probably for that reason. I mean, it SMA would be more of a lagging. It would lag more, like on spikes and stuff. Fast moving price action. So, is there a pivot at 350 is the question. If it breaks 350 with MACD positive, would this be a retest of the highs? A little bit disappointing that we haven't had anything fresh. We're kind of having to watch curling patterns here. Moving a little bit slowly, but Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure what's gonna happen here. It's moving really slowly. I mean, this is what I would have expected from a stock like this. Higher float, lower price. Like 8 million share flow with a lower price is sort of grindy, thickly traded price action. All right, have a good one, Tex. Oh boy. Slow, slow. Looks like I might have to go early because we got guests and my dog's gonna be barking like crazy. I'll at least mute myself here for a second. Yeah, we just got a security guy here doing some maintenance, but my dog don't like him. Have a good one, Bullseye. DLZ looks like it's on the backside of these previous moves. Morning, Jaden. Yeah, we've got 6 minutes to the opening bell, and there's looks like we're not getting anything fresh today. We're just have to consider trading market open if at all. Yeah, we're just waiting in the weeds. Have you calmed down? Have you calmed down? No, he's not. Jay Z. Looks like I can't trade it. Yeah. That's the first time I've never been able to find a symbol before. Which trade did I take today? I took one trade on SGLY, just a test trade for the break of the trend line, just 20 shares. Didn't end up working out. I didn't actually see any trades today that fit my normal strategy. So today would have been a no trade day if I didn't take a stab at SGLY, the break of the trend around just after 7 a.m. Late Swan meditation. Yeah, I can't even trade. I can't trade JZ on Trade Zero, unfortunately. I don't think. So this is slightly moving, but it is not available. Which is kind of unfortunate because this is making a decent move from 3 on this pullback all the way up to 430. Trade Zero isn't always the same. Like, this is Trade Zero Canada, right? Trade Zero Canada is a little bit different. Yeah, I just can't trade it. I don't know. First time I've ever seen that before. It just says symbol not found. So I guess that's the extent of my luck this week is the one thing that I might have traded here, I can't trade. Too bad. SGLI is absolutely dumping. Oh man, look at this. What is happening with this market? Buy the dip? Buy the dip. Screw your trend line. Hey, my trend line, it tried its best. Yeah. 5 million registered direct offering priced at the market under the NASDAQ. Typical. And this one's dumping too. Well, all right then. You're halted up in JZ. I can't even see what the resumption price on this is. Will it let me trade it now that it's market open? Nope. No, sir. Why is symbol not found on SGLY now? Something's going on with my trade zero today. I wonder what was that about? I was able to trade SGLY earlier. What is happening? I don't know. You get that issue too? I've never seen that before. I don't know why it's doing that. I wonder if I had restarted my trade zero, if I would have been able to trade JZ or not. Let's find out. Looks like it. Wasn't that infuriating? I'm not actually infuriated. I'm just I'm just okay then. Could have been a green day. I would have traded either this bull flag or this ABCD, I think. Because there was nothing else moving and this was moving up quickly with some volume. So I would have traded one of these two patterns. So that's the market conspiring against me, I guess. Yeah, SGLY works now. Very interesting. Well, I know for next time, if the stock is moving and it's not finding it in trade zero, then I got to restart the platform. Have a good day, human. So I'm not gonna go and trade this into, halt resumption or anything like that. I've already missed the opportunity on it down here because of for whatever reason, Trade Zero did that. I think it's just too late now. Huey's is dumping, halted down. BTCT is dumping after it touched that trend line. Wheato's too expensive. We're looking at, like, I'm going down just through the top 5 leading gainers. SGLY halted down. Big dump, direct offering. MMA has been chopping around all day. Like, there's not really anything interesting. This resumes, tests VWAP, and then continues higher. It's our top leading gainer now, up 188%. I mean, if it does a proper 1-minute pullback, I'll consider it. Considering it is our top leading gainer. If it does a 1-minute pullback to 450. It meets all of the pillars except for news, but it's Chinese stock. It's a pretty high volume selling candle there on that first 1 minute candle, red candle. XCTG. Oops, clicked on the wrong one. Yeah, I mean, it's another no news Chinese stock. It doesn't have enough volume for me to be interested. Whoops. I think my trading view is lagging a little bit. And it dumps. Yeah, I think it's just Dumbfest today. Nice job, small wins. Yeah, I suppose that would have been a pretty good short for the bounce off of VWAP. All right, well, I think the writing is on the wall today. I mean, it doesn't. Like we have to see a JMB moving here, potentially break above 390, but what's the news? Callan Power to acquire Reger oil assets. One of the worst weeks you've had? Oh, sorry to hear that, Corey. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my worst weeks too. I just sized up and now I have. Monday wasn't too bad of a red day. It was like 14 bucks. Today is just 5 bucks, trading 20 shares just to experiment on SGLY. Otherwise, I would have been a no trade day. But then, $90 and then $60 red days back to back, 150, 160. Gave back over half of my progress from the past 3 weeks, which doesn't feel great. So I think a lot of us are having some difficulties here with this kind of week. Catch the front side of the move. Yeah, catch the front side or catch the knife. My trading view lags at the open quite a bit too. I've noticed. We'll see maybe when my trading view sub expires and I'll fully switch to Charts Watcher. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I don't know why it has to lag so much. Not really any reason for it to be. Chart switching is a little bit laggy. Only fresh in front side, otherwise getting chopped up. Yeah, look at that lag. I didn't even click anything there. Just delayed inputs. Yeah, I think I'm gonna shut it down here. Come back tomorrow. See if we can get anything fresh tomorrow. Today we had nothing fresh except for if you consider Huey's fresh. I will have to contemplate about, you know, jumping in on parabolic momentum, even if it's just 20 shares, small share size, while it's moving quickly. I'll have to consider that, I suppose. But there wasn't really anything else today. I mean, SGLY had the 200 moving average right there. If I ignored it, I could have taken a trade. Just decided not to take it. Usually it's not a very good idea from what I've seen to take it when it's right under the 200 like that, but only two opportunities that weren't perfect. Other than that, yeah. Really, really slow day. Frustrating market. So many moves, pump and dumps. Yeah, I agree. Jump on those high day breaks and fresh moves. Yeah, I'm gonna do some review of my trades in the past 3 weeks and like over the weekend too, and see which ones have given me the best potential. The market sentiment has changed since then, so that might not be completely applicable for the future. But maybe I'll look specifically at high day breaks and start jumping in with just 20 shares, breakout or bailout type of thing. I used to do that in the past, and I would get in on a ton of false breaks. It's difficult because one thing you learned in the past might not be applicable for the future sometimes. In the past, whenever I would jump in on high day like that, I would just get in on false break after false break after false break. So that was automatically instilled in me to not to do that, right? But yeah, no, I'll take a look at it. Yeah, GG Baco. Great if you're a fan of Dark Souls games. Yeah, for sure. If you like being masochistic, market's great. Is SLGY buy now that it is under $4? I mean, we're not the stock market isn't a bargain store. We're not here to pick up the hottest sales. For all we know, this could go all the way down to 50 cents. We had no idea. Just did a direct offering. We're not here to look for sales. We're here to look for momentum. All right, I'm shutting it down. Thanks everyone that stopped by today. Be back at it again tomorrow, 7 a.m. I will have to leave a little bit early tomorrow at 8:45 or so. So we'll stream for an hour and a half and then we'll get off. Hopefully we get something in that time, but this week is already a bust. I'll be experimenting with trend lines and adjusting my strategy a little bit. Maybe considering high day break setups and whatnot. But we're in a tough market right now, so it just is what it is. $5 red day today. It's a who cares red day. I jumped in on an experiment, lost on it. Is what it is. So yeah, have a good one, Momentum Trader. Martin and Ron and everyone else. Krungus. Yeah, it's tough. All right. Take care, guys. Stay green, manage your risk, and I'll see you tomorrow.